Let's see. Gonna open up both LinkedIn and YouTube live. Folks were excited about this. All right. Let's see. If y'all can hear me, definitely let us know. If y'all can hear, say y'all, you can hear us or something. All right. All right, we are officially up and running on both LinkedIn and YouTube. All right, hola. All right. Hola, you too.
Hola, Khadija. How are you?
I'm good. Where's everyone watching from?
Hola, Pedro. How are you today?
Oh man, it's Thursday.
All right, perfect. We can be heard loud and clear. Everyone post in the chat where y'all watching from. We got DC in the house. Where else do we got in the house? Where's everyone watching from? David's in the house. Roderick's in the house. San Diego. Hey, that's
San
close to.
Diego. Hey.
It's like Arlington, Massachusetts is in the house. All right. Nigeria's in the house. New Hampshire's in the house. All right. It's all right. Looks like the LinkedIn folks are all right.
Oh, I see Wisconsin in the house. Hello, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's a interesting first. That's an interesting city.
Sure is.
Jacksonville, Florida's in the house. Ontario, California's in the house. Okay. I wonder what part of California that's in.
The Inland Empire. Okay.
Ghana's in the house. All right, worldwide. All right, let's bring this in. Wait till we get to 5 after, then we'll get started. All right, hope y'all got some, notes. Make sure y'all got something to take notes with. We're definitely gonna be dropping some gems today.
Oh yeah.
One more minute, then we'll definitely get going. All right. And David says, aren't you the one who has gone from delivering pizzas to insights? Give us a strategy to get hired. I'll do my best. I will do my best. And today we will focus on how you can use AI to help you with that, which was not available when I was doing it. Okay, Ontario is 40 miles east of Los Angeles. Okay. All right, y'all. We're ready to go. Listen, y'all's listen. The dream team is back. Okay, y'all's favorite tech recruiters and career coaches are back. Listen, for those who, most people may know me, but listen, Pedro and Emily, y'all. For those who may be seeing y'all for the first time, let folks know who you are, what you do, and how you help people.
Awesome. Pedro, you're the veteran. You go first.
So, Pedro Zambrano, like it says on the screen. Right now, I work as a senior technical recruiter for a firm out in Knoxville, Tennessee. Prior to that, I did a good amount of time in the Marine Corps. So, spent a lot of time in the Marines. Traveled around doing a lot of recruiting. So, when it comes to helping people, educating them, doing evaluations, not a stranger to that. How I help people now? Well, I'll tell you this. If you're the type of person that wants someone to be just bottom line up front with you and just give you the straight scoop on where you sit with a job opportunity, that's not going to be biased, but more so just still going to take care of your feelings, but more so want to take care of your career and give you exactly what you need so that you can be successful with the job opportunity, with interviewing, with actually, putting yourself on the market so that you can be strong. That's what I do every day. I don't just do it for career changers and anybody in tech. I also do it for veterans So my time and my hours are, they never stop. They're like Las Vegas. They're always on. No quit. But yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. And my name is Emily. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I don't know. It's been quite the journey, but I think the crux of it is that I spent a little bit of time working as a tech recruiter for Wayfair, mainly hired for business intelligence and other analytical roles. And I have a deep love for data. So after working closely together with the data team over at Wayfair, I decided to go into data myself. And I've learned, some of the tools of the trade, a little bit of SQL, a little bit of Tableau. After which I just decided that I need to implement that in my career coaching. So right now I mainly focus on supporting job seekers who are looking to land their next role in tech. And I use a lot of data and tools, including some AI tools that we're going to talk about today, in order to get the job done. So your success is my success, guys. Let's get going.
Absolutely. I mean, yo, we're dropping the gems here that you don't really see on LinkedIn and whatever. Folks like to gatekeep, and we just don't gatekeep. We're team unveil. Okay, we are team unveil. All right. So one thing I wanted to say is, like, I remember what it was, maybe 2023 ish. No, 2022 ish, maybe. I don't remember. I just remember when AI just started really flooding the market in terms of AI resume builders, AI auto applies. I knew from at that point, I was like, everyone was really excited. I was like, no, this is going to actually, I see like a double edged sword. I feel like it's going to really flood the market or flood the numbers of like lower quality applications for job postings. So, for example, if I could easily use an AI tool or AI site to make me a resume to fit directly for an astrophysicist. That's just the possibility. I know nothing about it, but I could still do it and apply, and those numbers will just be inflated. And I feel like that's just making it harder for everybody. But I've learned over time, it seems like some folks are able to utilize AI to their advantage. I'm still team good old networking, but it seems like folks in the market have really learned how to use AI to their advantage and to like as their competitive advantage. And it seems like most people aren't really known to the secret sauce. So it seems like Emily and Pedro definitely are really way ahead on the AI game, especially on both sides of the field. Recruiting and applications for career changers. So um, like y'all tell me, like, how do you feel like AI has been, probably provided advantages, especially maybe Pedro, like on the recruiting side, like in terms of assessing candidates, because it's like, well, if 100 people look the same, you have to use some sort of way to kind of filter down to the right candidate.
No, absolutely. The AI has brought speed to the evaluation process. So one of the something we say is TKD, time kills deals. So the more time you spend on a person, or the more time you actually go through having to evaluate so many resumes, you're killing the opportunity to find a great candidate who can make their way to a conversation with a hiring manager. And with the speed portion, something that I know I leverage, and I'm sure others do, they probably just don't tell you all. You can drop a job description into an AI platform, and then you can begin to put resumes that professionals have submitted for the role. And then you can have that model go ahead and rank for you those resumes as far as competitiveness and marketability for the role based on how they're able to meet the requirements. So I'm really, it's taken a lot of learning for me to do this, because I'm more of the touch feel process. I want to see a resume, lay them out in front of me, take a highlighter, do a red pen, develop my questions, and I still do that. But when it comes for speed, and the moment we post a job on a job board, or it goes onto LinkedIn and the easy apply, within about an hour, you're going to get over 100 resumes. And so the speed to be able to go through that, you do have the professionals who submit their resume, and some of them are just not meeting the mark. They're just their hopes and dreams, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I get it. But when it comes to evaluating and then prioritizing them, I leverage it so that it can give me the speed of seeing who are the top candidates based on their resume. And like you said, AI has been around for the past few years. Still, not everyone is utilizing it in their job search or when it comes to recruiting. There's people fighting tooth and nail to get away from it because they're afraid of what it can do. If you use the tool the right way, it brings speed into the process, and what would normally have taken hours in the past can now just take a matter of minutes. So I leverage it for the speed of being able to go through resumes that are going to hit the mark, that closely resemble what a job description is looking for. People believe that, hey, there's an ATS system that they just scan your resumes through and then eventually it doesn't make it to a person. Companies use that, but then it gets to somebody just like me. And then I'm the one actually looking through your resume, trying to see, okay, how well do you meet the mark? And are you connecting the dots to be able to show solutions on your resume that resonate with what the job needs?
We got a question, I think maybe you see in your more so like, is that legit though? Is uploading a resume to AI and it automatically applies for you? How do employers view that? And I also feel like that's also providing or associating with the high numbers, like the 100 people after an hour. Most of those folks aren't qualified.
No, they're not. And Emily, you can speak on this too. But for me, when you can upload your resume into an AI platform, and the best thing that I can encourage people to do is that when you do that, you may not recognize how well formatted or unformatted your resume is. And so an AI tool can then help you fix the formatting on your resume. That's the first piece. The second is to see if you have duplicated words inside your resume because you're the one looking at it. You may have missed something when you're going through to do your little quality control of it. Now, for it to automatically apply for you, I have not tested that portion, so I can't speak on that. And to be honest with you, if I was using something to automatically apply for a job for me, I would stop right there. I'd actually want to read the job description to see how well does my resume connect to what that job description is asking for. So in that case, if somebody's doing like the automatic apply through an AI model, I can't speak on it. I haven't used it. And in my opinion, and for me, I would not use it because I'd really want to read through it to see how well I market myself on that document that I'm going to send to that actual organization. Now, employer-wise, you would think that there's a lot of people who are utilizing AI tools to enhance their resumes or to make sure that they're formatted correctly, but they're not. If I had to put a percentage on it and ballpark it, about close to 70% of professionals do not use any AI products to be able to help enhance their resumes. Most of them are still paying people to build a resume for them. And to be honest with you, you should be the one building your resume. The AI model can help you build your resume. So as an employer or somebody doing the recruiting piece, I don't look at it negatively. If anything, I think you're one-upping a lot of others who are not utilizing it. And it also shows that you're not afraid. But it's really kind of hard to tell. I'm not asking this model to be like, tell me if this person built this using ChatGPT. Tell me if this person used a Copilot to build their resume. I'm not asking that. To be honest with you, I don't have time for that. That's not why I'm using it. I'm using it for the speed process of finding out who I can prioritize to make the first phone call to in the beginning of the process of sourcing, so that way I can connect with the best person.
I have kind of two different points around this topic. So number one, I stopped recruiting before AI was a thing. So we're talking like 2019, everything, there was an ATS system, but everything was still very manual. So, when I was sitting there in my little recruiter chair at the Wayfair headquarters, and, I would get like 100 applications for the same job. I knew that people were customizing their resumes. I knew that they were writing them basically by hand because there just weren't tools out there on the market. And, at some point, I think people are a little bit salty because, I think what Kadisha said initially was absolutely on the dot. It is a double-edged sword because what have we gained? We've gained efficiency. Like Pedro's talking about how he's gained efficiency in the screening process. And I, as a candidate or a candidate advocate, have also gained efficiency because, I have the same kind of tools available to me to be able to customize a resume as, a Pedro, a Pedro has to be able to evaluate a resume. And people are out there using them. Not everyone is doing it, but people are out there using it. So I think it's important to know that like this is the world that we live in now. Just to the same point as like if you're wanting to work in tech, you need to be on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you're simply not in tech. I think this is a question that we had on our last live that we did. So basically, this is the kind of ecosystem that we are living in right now and that we need to kind of survive in. So definitely it's going to be used against you, more or less. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but it's going to be used to screen your resumes at some point. Not all companies are doing that right now. There are a lot of recruiters out there who still say, I do everything 100% manually. But honestly, like I see where Pedro's coming from, and that gain of efficiency is really important. So to give you an example, when I was a recruiter in 2019 at Wayfair, we had this painstaking process where we would go to different universities around the country and we would hold like recruiting events. And I would get like 300, or our team would get like 300 resumes for, the same internship. And and then it's like, well, there's not going to be one person evaluating 300 resumes, right? So what I did at that point was like, you know what, we need a way to be able to standardize the evaluation process. So I, as an individual contributor in this team, didn't evaluate every single resume, but we created a system to be able to evaluate resumes fairly. So, for example, language skills, who has SQL on there, who's got, Excel, et cetera, all the way down the line. And then we tested it. So basically, I built out this little evaluation tool in Excel. We all added our scores into the sheet, and then we manually went through all of the resumes that we had received, and we found that the ranking that we found with our evaluation tool was actually the same type of, generally like more or less the same ranking that we would have achieved without it. And it was just a huge efficiency gain. So I think, AI tools are just like the next level of that. So you're still like, Pedro's still looking at your resume, but if he's receiving 500 resumes for the same role, like he doesn't have time to comb through every single one with a fine tooth comb. He's going to look at maybe the top, I don't know what capacity do you have to interview for a role? Are you interviewing the top 10? Are you looking at the top 30 to make sure that, that you're encompassing the top 10 in that ranking? And then maybe the bottom 70, unfortunately, you won't see.
So I actually, when and I think Kadisha and I, we had talked about this months back when people were saying, how do I beat the easy apply on LinkedIn? Mm-hmm. And LinkedIn, honestly, just a job board it's all about exposure. It's about an organization gaining exposure when they post a job. That's it. Most of the jobs, a high percentage of them, close to 80%, are referral driven. So the people who are getting hired are the ones that are being referred to the organization. That's not a negative thing. There's just a smaller percentage for you, should you apply, that your resume makes it to somebody that's actually going to do the phone call. Okay. Now, I'm usually calling everybody, but the screening questions that are either not answered or answered and have the wrong responses are what's going to help separate the resumes that do not receive the phone call. So work authorization, the requirements for the years of experience when it comes to SQL, any of the other platforms or tools that are going to be utilized for a position. You name it. Those screening questions take a portion away. The work authorization, they take a portion away. So we may start out with 100 in the first hour, but by the time you start peeling it back, you're probably going to have like 40 that are left. After that, out of those 40, just skimming through them, I'll begin to see which ones are formatted, look like a modern format, and some that are looking like a paragraph of you trying to tell me the story from when you were 6. Check this out. If you're doing that, that means you're not up to date on how to do your resume, or you just didn't take the time to try to do, enhance it. You got to get with the times. You're not going to spend 5-10 minutes on 40 resumes. Yeah, do the math on that. That's all day. I'm not going to do that. So I will go to the ones that look great formatted. I'll key in on certain items. I'll put them into the AI model. on ChatGPT, and then at that point I'll have a ranking system, and then I will make 20 phone calls, and I'll call those 20 professionals. And so that funnel starts large and then works its way small as we go through the screening, the questions, just everything that I've mentioned. And then by the time I get to the point where I'm going to make the phone calls, I'm calling 20 professionals. And then through the questioning of speaking to those professionals, if I don't find the right, say 10 people that this organization is looking to interview once we submit them, and then they're going to mark that down to like 7, well, then I'll continue to go back to the other 20 that I didn't call, and I'll look at their resumes and I'll take some more time. And granted, the average hiring time right now for somebody in tech, if we put a timeline on it, it's over 30 days. 30 days from the time a job is posted till we find the right professional. You do the rounds of interviews, and then that person actually gets an interview, makes it from one round to the second round, and maybe an on-site visit. They then get an offer letter. It's 30 days, so about a month. So in that portion, there's a battle rhythm of going throughout the month and the week of working the job, receiving the resumes, and then calling those as need be. But I'm trying to get the fastest way I can to the first 20 so I can make sure I'm calling just the best ones that are out there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. So I think that really speaks to, there's still a human touch in this. It's not like, unless you're really like, you don't have a visa to work in this country, I think like that's the only time then people really get like auto rejected. Otherwise, I feel like you're still in the system, and yeah, theoretically ranked. But if you got a guy, I think like recruiters, and I feel like I was like this as a recruiter, I feel like, we really want, to do people justice. And, we've all been in a job search, and we want to make sure that everybody's seen. And at the same time, like we have our KPIs too. So, I've got my manager breathing down my neck. Is that role filled? Is that role filled? Do I have interviews in the pipeline? So as much as I think recruiters need to have empathy for job seekers, please also try and have a little bit of empathy for recruiters as well, because they're just doing a job, and they're kind of like, battling with the same kind of the AI landscape that you guys are at the same time. So, that is, kind of the one side of it. And then the other side is that there are, to use a little bit of AI lingo right now, there are agents out there that you can use to just go out and spray your resume across different positions on the internet. I'm not even going to name them because I have worked with clients who have used them, and I do not recommend it. Rule number 1. So, I've seen this starting like 2 years ago when I started doing career coaching. There are things where you'll just put in your resume and it'll like literally spray your resume across the continental United States. And I would say that this is not a good approach for 2 reasons. Number 1, sometimes the job matching isn't very good. So I don't know, I had a person in sales, and his resume kept getting sent out for like physical therapy jobs. I have no idea why. So that wasn't very good. Maybe it's improved in the meantime. But number 2, you have 0 level of customization towards these jobs that you're applying for. So, I feel like overall there are 3 different strategies that you can take when it comes to resume customization. Number 1 is having one resume that you send to everyone. And I feel like, in the days of old, I feel like we all did this. Like, this is the resume, we sent it out, and then there were very few resumes going out to recruiters. So the probability that you would get a call back from that resume was much higher than it is today, because people are using the AI tools, and they are adding a certain level of customization. So please do yourself a favor and do the same. Level 2 is like a base resume. So if you're only applying for data analytics roles, you can have a data analyst resume. So overall, there are generally going to be tools that are required for data analysts. We're talking about SQL, we're talking about Tableau, Power BI, Python, Excel, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a little R if you're getting fancy. So it's going to be really important for you to have these keywords on your job description, or on your resume, sorry. And if you have like the main part of your resume customized to this role type, which I like to call bucket, then you could do a low level of customization each time, where the professional summary is the only thing that you customize to this particular job description. So that's kind of like the middle of the road. And then, the full customization method where you have a custom GPT set up that is really well informed about your background, what it is that you want. and just has, I love that we're a data audience here. It is just loaded with your data. So everything that you can give it about your career, about your personal interests, not all your personal interests, keep it professional, but any connections that you've had to particular industries, everything that you can give it in the back end will help it give you fantastic customized results on the front end, which is also something else that we can talk about. So, people are a little bit salty, I think, nowadays that all these tools are out there. Honestly, they are out there regardless of whether we want them or not. So please be using them to your advantage.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to segue into how people can like utilize or best utilize these AI tools. I personally feel like most on the market aren't very good either. Every time I get some or I see a new list, I share them to my community. I say, "Hey, y'all, can y'all check it out?" They're like, this isn't that great, blah blah blah. So, and there's so many, and honestly, many are just not very good. And I feel, as we can see, people really don't understand how empowering now ChatGPT really is, especially when you understand how to customize it with your own information. That would be actually more effective than these tools and platforms that charge you money. And one thing that I realized too is like sometimes when you see people like use ChatGPT, when they use ChatGPT, you see them using the free version. So if you're using the free version every time you use ChatGPT, you're missing out on so much. Like you don't even know ChatGPT yet. You don't even know what it really is yet. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it's just like a small bite. That's not it. That's really not it. So I know, there's all sorts of subscriptions, but there are just certain subscriptions that I feel like we all should definitely invest in. Definitely one of the AI platform, whether it's ChatGPT, if you want to use like Claude, whatever it is, or Perplexity, definitely at least one. And I say Canva, but you definitely I think that's definitely something that you should definitely want to invest in. One of those AI ones. So when we say use ChatGPT and then edit your resumes, etc., if you're using the free version, you're missing out. You haven't seen it yet. So, and I've seen, yeah, we got some questions here about actually one question. It kind of just goes into just how people, you know, because when we can say all these things, but people they still have no idea where to start, right? Aaron, hey, I've heard of people using AI to get emails from hiring managers at the company they're applying to reach out. Is that something? Is that something, Emily, you recommend to your clients?
I mean, that's definitely a strategy that you can pursue. I think that there are always some things to consider when we're doing this. So, number one, the higher up in the company the person is that you're contacting, the more emails that they get. So, if you're like cold emailing a VP at a large company, it's quite unlikely that they're going to respond to you. If it's a smaller company like a startup, absolutely go and they're trying to create an environment in which everyone can succeed, because I know that if I have that chat with you today, 2 years down the road, you might remember that and I might want something from you. So there are definitely people that do that. However, like these higher level executives, a lot of times they just don't have the time for it. So if it is a larger company and you're going for the hiring manager, you might also consider just looking for somebody who has the job that you want. Like, who's a person who is already a data analyst at the company? I always tell people, like, have a look and see who has something in common with you. I think that we went over this the last time, but the 3 C's, commonality, complement, and chat. See who has something in common with you. Call out, something that you find interesting about their profile and ask them very briefly for a 20-minute chat. Ask it, make it actionable and easy to say yes to. I think that type of resume has a higher response rate than going like levels and levels higher.
I also would highly recommend to not even use AI for that stuff. I mean, just as like a business owner, the type of obviously automated chat GPT-ish emails that I get from folks who like maybe scrape my email and want to sell me something is awful.
Yeah.
Just like most of these AI tools are just awful. You might as well just do it yourself.
Yeah. And like honestly, when it comes to those direct messages, personalization is the name of the game. Like if I see something and I think it's just a bot, ignore. Next.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, so let's get into again. I think what most people, like I said, I think most people have no idea that they can actually customize GPT, and I feel like it's time to
Yeah.
remove the curtain and really unveil one of the secret sauces when it comes down to AI. Once you guys learn how to just spend that $20 a month or whatever and customize your GPT, you're not going to need a bunch of these tools. You're going to realize, hold on, this is all that it is. Come on. So let's get into that.
Let me see. Well, did that work yet? Share my screen.
Are you trying to share your screen? I don't see anything. I don't see anything pop up on the bottom.
Oh. All right, can you see it?
Oh, that's a good one. I see people. Yeah, let me add this to the stage. Say this really. I see people that don't review what ChatGPT provides and only copy and paste. Yeah, that's a big no-no. All right, that's a big no-no. ChatGPT would
Oh,
lead
yeah.
you astray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, will lead you astray.
All right, so everybody can see the screen. Oh,
Uh-oh.
there it is. Cool. Okay, so for everybody who's on here is wondering, like, oh, how do I build my own GPT? I hear too many people talk about this, right? So right here on Claude, this is one of the ways that you can. It's probably too easy that once you see this, you can be like, I don't even believe that people do this, and that's all it takes. So if you're watching the screen, I mean, that's that little sentence I wrote in is pretty simple. And if you can see what's happening right now, this is already building and developing what I'm going to copy paste to build a personalized GPT in the $20 a month chat GPT version subscription. Can run through here on Claude. I can personalize it, help me fill out the template. I mean, if you're following along on there, you see two sides to the screen, and it's giving me every single thing on what to do, what instructions to follow so that I can build my personalized GPT. Is really not that tough, right? Well, I'll run through this gambit here on Claude to help build my personalized GPT. Then I come to ChatGPT. And right here where it says GPTs, click on that and create. So up in this area right here where you see this little button, that's the create section for you to create your own GPT. You can come in here in the create section, and then what will happen is everything that you want to tailor and do on your own. And granted, if you have never done one before, I encourage you you can play with it yourself, but if you really want to hone it in to be strong, then you're gonna want to do a little bit of homework on how to do that, okay? But the process of doing it is not very challenging. I would copy drag that model, bring it in here, put it in this preview side right here where this cursor is moving through, and run a test phase on the GPT. Now, when you're building your GPT, you can build it to where it's either personalized to you and you can share it, but there's certain levels of information that you put on there if you're creating one that cannot be shared to the store, which prevents others from using it if there's certain rules and regulations that you're not abiding by and you won't really know until you try to build the GPT yourself. Go through create, come here, and if you look to my left, right here where my cursor is going, in the past when I started first on LinkedIn, and I wanted to grow and engage, I just wanted to mess around and try to build GPTs that I could utilize for myself to, let's just be honest, connecting and networking on LinkedIn sometimes can be the weirdest thing. It can be so tough because really we make it tough. So I wanted speed. I wanted speed to be able to work through cast a web as fast as I could and as wide as I could for professionals on LinkedIn. So I created these GPTs here about posting a repost for people when they get a job. If you see people when they repost themselves to LinkedIn and they're like open a network and it gives all these little things about them. For a while, I was going through and taking that repost and personalizing it for them instead of just saying repost, right? Sharing it. And it was a simple thing. If anything, what that did for me is that created the ability to open a conversation with that professional who I shared it for, and then establish a new connection and build a new relationship because other people were not doing that. I went through and did one for a connection message. It's, oh my goodness, what do I tell this person? You know, that I don't know them from, I don't know them. I've never talked to them before. I don't even know what they do. This is where AI comes in and you can leverage it to be able to help you craft those messages. And then you got to take it yourself and personalize it on your own. But lo and behold, right? These are just a couple that I did. Even this right here, listen. Most organizations, they do not have a job description built. They are utilizing job descriptions that are 2 and 3 years old. Well, sometimes all I get are notes from a meeting. And then from those notes from the meeting and maybe some past hires that they've had, I utilize those things to be able to craft a new job description that can meet the requirements and the expectations for what they're needing now in 2025, not what was needed when they hired this person 4 or 5 years ago. So this is just an example, right? Claude, too simple for me to go on there and tell it to help me build my GPT. Chat GPT, go to the create section. From GPTs, it can help me create it. I can test it on my own, run through it, refine it as best as possible. Like I said, if you don't know how to do it, connect with somebody who does, and that way they can help walk you through it and then filter it down to where it's very specific to you. And right here, if you see this, I don't want to open it because there's people's names in there and you can see their names here on the side. So I don't need to open it up for you. But I'm not just blowing smoke up anybody's keister, okay? Like I literally do this every day. I feel like me, Kadisha, and Emily, we're some of the biggest candidate advocates around. I don't need to keep this from anybody because if I'm doing it, others are doing it. When I do it though, if I see somebody who's not making the cut, I'm like, dude, your resume is just, it's a little outdated, man. If I send this version, we've had a great conversation. If I send this version to the hiring manager, they're gonna have more questions than answers. So what's your take? Are you against us jumping on a call right now and visually walking through how to enhance your resume? Let's audit it together and see if this is exactly what you want to share with that hiring manager. I will cut and paste it to a Word doc. You refine it on your own, and then you send it back to me. And then when you bless it and give it to Hominis Dominus, that's the one we're going to send to the hiring manager because that's the one that can articulate you the best way to this person for this job opportunity. So hopefully get you an interview so that you can then turn your magic on in the conversation. It's not very challenging. Like it's pretty simple when you utilize it, but this is only available when you do the $20 a month version. If you go through the free version of ChatGPT, you could probably do a few things, but you can't leverage it to the point to where the amount of data and information that it'll pour out will be utilized when you're trying to leverage the platform.
Pedro, you got a shout out. Pedro's advice on making GPTs is game changing. I'm going to learn more advanced AI strategies for sure. Okay. All right. Change the life.
Awesome. Do you want to have some more?
Yep.
Awesome. So let's see if I can share my screen now. And Pedro, I'm so glad that you showed how that works. because I'm actually not able. Okay, share screen, 2 monitors. Okay, I'm actually not able to share the process of how that works because I do have a lot of GPTs, custom GPTs for my clients. But what I can show you is after you reach the stage where Pedro got you to, so you click on the GPTs and then you create a new one. This is what your screen is going to look like. So, going a little bit high level, like the reason that I like ChatGPT in the resume writing process. So we're just like talking about resume writing right now, as opposed to like tools that are out there on the market, is that with a custom GPT, you're able to load a lot of data into it. And this is what the advantage is over other tools out there. So if you have another tool that you're using, you feed it your resume, you might be a little bit confused about what's going in this resume to start off with. So, the data that you put in, data community, I love you guys. So the data that you put in might not align with your objective. So, when I'm using ChatGPT, I can feed it data upon data upon data, piles and piles of data, and then I can give it the objective later, and then it can align me. So this is a very, very helpful tool to be able to do that. So what we're seeing here basically is on the left side, but like for the purpose of this conversation, I'll just call the back end, and then the preview on the right, so I'll call the front end. And all you do basically, I'm in the configure. So you can start out here in the chat window because it's super, super easy to do from this perspective. And you can just say, hey, today I'd like to make a custom GPT to give you a lot of information about me as an employee and my work history so that you can help me create customized resumes and cover letters for my job search. Of course, there are a lot more things that it can do with your data. It can definitely help you write customized networking messages. It can also help you write, update your LinkedIn profile. It can even help you prepare for an interview. So once you put all of your data into the back end, you use it to send out good resumes, you get that interview, you can literally just sit there and chat with it, and you can tell it, hey, I want you to act as this hiring manager because maybe you know specifically who it is who's going to be interviewing you. What kind of questions do you think they'll ask me in their interview process? And a question that I like to ask it is, what gaps do you see between my experience and the job description, and kind of challenge me on those gaps so that I can work through that before I actually get into the interview process. So super, super powerful tool here. And what I would like to say is, you start out just, if you have time, I would definitely 100% recommend doing a prompt engineering class if you have the ability to do so. I saw Maggie in here. I know that that we're both involved in a prompt engineering group right now. So thanks for joining us today, Maggie. But it'll definitely help you 10x, 20x, 100x your game when it comes to like getting this stuff set up right. So I'm going to tell it, okay, look, this is all the stuff I'm going to give you. I'm going to then here, if I click down on the plus button, I can add photos and files. Literally you can give it files. You can give it videos if you want. If you've got so I'm working with a person right now who ran his own company for 30 years and he's looking for a new role. So not only does he have a great resume, he has so much material about his, hi Maggie, about his company. So what was his brand strategy? What kind of clients did he work with? What kind of initiatives did he take in the workplace? So I have all of that built into a GPT for him. And when I support him with his applications, it's able to pick out very specifically from his strategy documents, including like PDFs that are not, that aren't formatted in resume format, things that'll be helpful towards very specific types of jobs, even like for different industries and stuff. So you could be uploading audio files, you can upload videos of yourself talking about your work, and it can use that, to create resumes for you. You never would think so, but absolutely can. So do all that stuff over here, add the photos, add the resume, if you can, copy and paste everything that you've got in your LinkedIn profile. even if it's not optimized yet, you can use this after you've gotten to this point to optimize it. And you can always be going back to refine. So that's in the create section. This is where you're just having that conversation and uploading stuff, but you can also do it a different way. You can go to the configure page where you can add stuff a little bit more directly if you don't want to have that conversational flow. So what is a GPT called? My job search compass. A description like this is going to help me find a new job. It can literally be as basic as that. Instructions. So then this is where we're going to tell it what it should be doing for us. Conversation starters. So if I add conversation starters in here, help me create a customized resume. Next one, help me prepare for an interview. And then when I have all of these separate conversation starters, I can also give it a little bit more context in the chat window, in the create window, and I could say, okay, when I'm having you create a customized resume, I can even upload a resume template. So this is what I do in my custom GPTs. I have a resume template, and it also knows the parameters around like how long different things need to be because of like how it would fit into this certain template. So I tell it in the back end, so create a resume that has, component A, B, C, D, E, and F, and make sure that when you create bullet points, you create them in the XYZ format, as espoused by Google, for example. Make sure it's between 100 and 130 characters, for example, so it's not going into 3 lines. You can really get that specific. You don't need to, though. So for my purposes, I find that I'm doing this a lot. So if I'm using the same template, it's really helpful for me to be able to give it those parameters. But you can also, once it starts generating for you, you can open the resume that it's generated in the canvas, and you can edit it right inside the canvas. So there are like a ton of different things that you can do with it. But I think the main message from me to you today is data community, use your data, put tons of data in here, and you will get golden nuggets out. That is the difference between using ChatGPT and getting something that is highly customized as opposed to using a generic tool that is out there on the market right now that doesn't have a lot of your own data, and you will be able, it will create something for you, but you will have to edit it heavily. I think someone had mentioned in the comments that, it makes up a lot of stuff. That is absolutely right. If it doesn't have information about you, it'll just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
And we try to avoid that and mitigate that by, front loading it with data here.
Yeah. Every time I've used it to build off a resume, or especially the resume, with submitting bullets or, how a person exceeds or meets the expectations or brings the solutions necessary for a particular role. When I'm doing a submission to a hiring manager, I even have to validate where you found this in the resume, validate where you brought this from the notes that I entered into this thread, and then, regurgitate it back to me, put it on the screen so I can make sure that it's accurate enough. So when I send this information, I'm not putting material that my candidate's going to be asked a question about that does not relate to their skills or their experience. And it's just something you input yourself because you feel like it would make it more impactful with the statement. So yes, you 100%. I agree with Emily. You got to go through and you have to audit everything it spits out, because it's grabbing data from throughout the masses to try to give you exactly what you want. So is it 100% perfect? It's like 99.8. So that little 0.02, that's just your personal touch you put on there, and it is still a learning model. It's going to continue to learn for as much data as you put into it. But the speed that it provides to be able to give you information or to help you, if I had to craft a resume for another role for a professional that I met today, and it's a different title and for a different company, and that hiring manager reaches out to us this evening and says they want to try to get people before the weekend, I don't want to have to tell this person you need to go hire somebody to try to go look at your resume, to try to figure it out, go take the rest of the evening to try to tailor your resume over to this job description. No. Hey, check this out. Let's jump on a call real quick. Here's the job description. You're looking at it. Okay. I think this is what we need to do with your resume. That's just my recommendation. If you're against it, it's all you. However, I want you to take a look at it and you let me know what you want to do, and then let's go from there. And in the speed to be able to do that, I can literally do it in a 15-minute phone call by just a few hours in the evening. And now I have the ability to then deliver a high quality resume that is not anything different, just a couple of words that are shifted in another gear for that professional to another hiring manager. And it's not an all-nighter or a week or a couple day process. It can happen almost instantaneously. So the leverage of speed that happens when you use these models, in my opinion, is game changing.
Yeah, I think efficiency is key, and at the same time, this is not a copy paste situation. Whatever it gives you, you are always always reviewing that. And actually, Pedro, you said like 98% accuracy. I think that was very generous. And honestly, like it depends on how well you prep it. So if you give it nothing in the beginning, I mean, it's going to be like closer to 30%, honestly. And if you give it if you give it amazing data to start out with, then you can get closer to that 98%.
92.
Okay, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on that. But in order, and this is actually a point I missed. So in order to kind of like, mitigate those gaps, one thing that I like to work on with my clients is creating what I like to call a situation catalog. So, when you're creating your resume, usually that's at the beginning of the application process. A lot of people do that and they start with themselves and they put down on paper what they have. But I would really encourage you to maybe consider starting with the interview process. So right now, when it comes to interviewing, behavioral interview questions are all the rage. So I train very heavily like on the Amazon interview process, and it is all, and you can find all this information on their website. So they're going to ask you a lot of situational interview questions. Tell me about a time when you did X, Y, and Z. And then you'll have to go and respond to those questions in a very structured format. So what you could do is go and even ask ChatGPT, can you please create 10 behavioral interview questions that would be good for me going into this type of role. And then once you have that list of 10 questions, you can literally dictate the answers into a Google Doc on your phone. It doesn't even have to be formatted well, because one thing that GPTs are really good at is creating structure from chaos. So if you give it a ton of like unstructured data, it can parse that really well and give you like golden nuggets out. So spend like half an hour, go through those interview questions, try and still, do the same types of things that you would actually do in the interview situation. So in addition to having like, that STAR format, which is situation, you describe the situation, task, action, and result. Also try and get some metrics in there, because, one thing that we're really lacking sometimes in our resumes is metrics. What were our KPIs? What did we hit? What was the impact? Like, how did I impact the bottom line of my company? And then so that's STAR I, and then there's another strategy, STAR L, which is what you learned. So I took this, this is a situation, the task, action, result, and this is what I learned from that situation. So all of those things, like having that in the back end, you'll get quite decent results. I'm still not sure 98%, because we have to be like pretty efficient at like getting our data in there and knowing what it is. But I think over time, if you keep refining it, yes, you can achieve very high levels of accuracy.
91.
Next topic.
But essentially, like for those who have said, yeah, put stuff in ChatGPT and giving me nonsense, it's just made stuff up. These past 25 or so minutes is exactly what you should do to really mitigate that stuff. Like your GPT should be personalized to you. You've been using, like say, if you've been using the free version, you've not had a subscription, you have no clue of the power of GPT or Claude or any of these tools. Remember what you talked about, Emily, before we came on? Is AI gonna replace analysts or whatever?
What do you think, Kadisha?
Nope, not at all. But I'm telling you, those who are, I know it's kind of probably overused at this point. Yeah, there's folks who know how to use AI smartly or intelligently. Not just the first people who use AI, people who know how to use AI intelligently. Because obviously, like I've seen a lot of people use AI and they don't really use it that well. So no, but if anyone has had any, thoughts of like, oh my gosh, is AI gonna replace? Because I've seen people say like, I don't want to learn Tableau and stuff like that because it's going to get replaced or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? And these are from people who don't even have a job yet. So I know that, no, I mean, well, the hype stuff like that just
Yeah.
really makes people think of just nonsensical stuff. Not that it's their fault, but it's like the AI hype is it's just ridiculous. And some folks really think that, oh, I don't want to be a data analyst because that's going to get replaced in like a couple years. Man, there were some jokers saying that like 3 years ago. So don't believe that. Don't believe that nonsense.
Yeah, and they're still delivering pizza today, aren't they?
Yeah. They're the ones still delivering pizzas. Okay?
They are. But let me tell you, so I am very close friends with a senior executive AI transmission OG boss. And something that I've heard very consistently from him is not that like your job isn't going to be taken over by AI, but it's going to be taken over by people who know how to use AI. So if you're not doing it right now, you are on the out, my friend. Keep up with it. Keep riding the wave.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, so definitely equip yourself with AI. Know how to use it intelligently. There was a quick question. Quickly, 2-column resumes versus 1-column. The 2-column resumes. Some folks were. Let me see if I can go back.
2 columns.
Oh, wait, actually, well, maybe I saw 2. Oh, hold on. Sorry. A more important question has just populated this. Oh, a more important question.
Okay.
What is that adorable animal in the pen? Listen, that is Macchiato. He's extremely attached to me. So everywhere I go, he is there. So he is like always with me. That is Macchiato. He is who are you? You are like I think 9 months now. There's another Void too. I have 2 black cats. She's 13 now. I don't know. They say like boy cats are more attached. The female cats. She ignores me like 90% of the day, unless there's food involved. But that is Macchiato. He's usually always here. But yeah, that's. I'm sorry. That was a priority question.
Another great question from Maggie.
Let's see. Let's see. He's a self-care icon taking that nap. Listen, that's all he does.
Very important during the job search, guys.
Don't you have 2?
I do have 2. I tell you, the other one ignores me most of the day.
Oh.
So I don't know what she's doing. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, hold on, we gotta finish off. Okay, y'all, what do y'all want to? What topic do y'all want to hear about next? Right? What is it? What do y'all want to hear? What's? Listen, you guys got like this is like office hours. Like, what do you want to know? What should we talk about the next time? There's a slight delay, so I'm gonna wait. Yeah. Post the topics in the chat, so we can look over. But we want to give the people what you want, but we gotta know what you want first. So,
should we name some possible topics?
I want to know what Maggie wants to talk about.
Okay. Maggie, what do you want to know? Don't say cats.
Crickets. Okay, Maggie.
Should I list some possible topics? Maybe that would help jog people a little bit. I mean, the main topics that people come to me with, I think maybe for this crowd, it's pretty clear that they want to go into data analytics. So, oh man, how do I make a good resume? I don't know if you guys have already covered that without me. What needs to go into that could be a topic. How to rock the interview. What needs to go into LinkedIn on my LinkedIn account? Like, so these are all like kind of like aligning yourself with the job search. Oh man, how to do like salary negotiation.
Maggie says, could we discuss, I see it. I hate LinkedIn.
Yeah.
There's a lot we could do. Okay. Yeah, David's not gonna let me live there. All right. David keeps saying, "Don't forget my 2-page versus 1 page." Okay, it was a 2-pagers, not 2-column. Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
2-page versus 1-page resume.
you want to go first? Or you want me
No,
to?
you go first.
You always do this. Okay.
I'm just talking too much. It's your turn.
I have submitted resumes that are 4 pages. So, when, in my opinion, depending upon what the role is, if the role is, I mean, if we're talking about a junior level data analyst, okay, early in the game, early in your career, if you have a 4-page resume as a junior data analyst, like just you're starting out, then yeah, that's not a good idea for you, because ain't no way you have all of that on there unless you're just trying to utilize it as a master resume. Now, the higher the responsibility of the position you're applying for, it might require for you to explain more of your experience and the impact you've delivered throughout your career. In those notions, when it's more than 2 pages, I have delivered those types of resumes to hiring managers, and those candidates have been interviewed. So I don't think there's maybe there's a right and wrong answer, and I'm not getting it out. But in my opinion, the 1 or 2 pager is dependent on the role and the amount of responsibility necessary for the position. But if you got a lot of experience and you want to put that experience on there, I hope you're sending it in for a senior level role. Because if it's for one that's a junior level role and you got a 4-pager, yeah, that is not going to turn into a hiring manager. No. 2 pages for somebody who's barely starting out, sure, I can dig that, because you have your professional summary, you have core competencies, you might have some skills or some other things on there, and then you have your work experience. You may have projects you've completed, and then your education at the bottom. That could usually take up 2 pages. Sure. But that's me. What about you, Emily? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Everybody has their own kind of standards. So all hiring managers are different, and a lot of times like hiring managers haven't gone through like a hiring manager education program, so they actually don't know what constitutes necessarily a good versus less good resume. I think typically industry standard, talking like tech industry, is like 1 to 2 pages max. And I think if I were working with which I'm doing. So when I work with senior level professionals, I really do try to get them to whittle it down to 2 pages, even if they've got 20, 30 years of experience, because I really want to be aligning. So what does this company want in particular? And let's just pick that out. Basically, cherry picking the information. And I, as a hiring manager, will assume that you haven't fit your entire life's work onto this 2 pages, and that's just kind of meat and potatoes for going into the interview. So I know that this is really very much like a curated glance at your work history. And when it comes to recruiters getting so I was a corporate recruiter, and Pedro, you're from an agency perspective, but I have like 10 seconds looking at that. So was I looking at page 2? Maybe if I was scrolling down to see like the skills list, and I know that's probably on page 2. If you're on page 3, honestly, if you are applying for a BI role at Wayfair, next. Because entry level BI data analyst role, I need to know, do you know these tools? Are you a people person? Can you communicate? And that's basically it. If you're giving me your life story or 100 million irrelevant things, last time we chatted, we talked about giving them the Coke, right? So if it ain't the Coke, next, I'm going to the next restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Coke in my fridge just for that.
Keep it concise, guys.
Okay, last thing, because I knew I saw the 2-column resume thing. Okay, here it was. It's like I've seen various job seekers say they've gotten better success with the traditional resume format as opposed with 2 columns splitting the page. They've suggested it may be due to ATS. Is that something you can speak to?
So I feel like I can speak to that. So like the 1 column 2-pager versus the 2 columns on the 1 page, like, you know, your name and stuff over here and then your bullets on the other side. So in addition to actual career coaching, I have done some reverse recruiting, which means that I take I take the profile of a person and I create the resume for them, and I go out there into the world and actually apply for the jobs. Like I am them on the internet. And so that means just I've had a lot of interactions with different ETS systems. And I find that overall, you will get a 99% success rate with 1 column resumes. You will get a slightly lower success rate with 2 column resumes if they're 1 page, if they're labeled well. But what you will always get a low success rate with, much lower success rate with every single time, is resumes that include graphics and resumes that you build in Canva, honestly. They look pretty, but honestly, like right now, we got to get it through the bots. You know, Pedro's going to toss that into his tool, his scanner. And if the scanner thing doesn't know what's going on there, next, you know?
Just kidding.
Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. I recommend the 1 column. If you're doing a 1-pager with 2 columns, if the columns are labeled well, that should also do the job.
I agree with you. Save the real nice, colorful ones for for a presentation.
Internship.
Yeah, for presentation.
Internship.
Yeah.
All right. So some of you guys had some very specific questions about like technical stuff. What should data analysts know? Portfolios. Definitely check out I've done previous lives about that and I have YouTube videos on that stuff. Please check out my YouTube channel. I got some good stuff that's like 7 minutes. I got a whole 60-minute roadmap for career changers to become a data analyst. Highly suggest you watch that stuff. But all those questions can be answered. I even have a free portfolio, live session where I teach you how to even create one. So all that stuff can be in there. But we have some good ideas for the next live. It looks like folks really like AI stuff. They want to know how to use AI to make posts and all that stuff. And we might need to do a part 2 of the resume roast. Looks like, because we got a lot of resume questions. We might need to do a part 2. Yeah, we might need to do a part 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Maggie said she wants to learn how to do LinkedIn with AI.
Do we want to do that next time? Do we want to show folks how to make good posts with LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you can do that. I love who's this one? The portfolios. Any more tools besides these 2? Like, there's a lot of stuff in there, but
yeah,
I agree with you. There's a lot to cover and to go over. Like, this is barely like a glimpse of what these programs can do.
Yeah.
Just a glimpse. Gotta get
I don't know, maybe getting a little bit more in the weeds with some specific purposes. I don't know, for your GPT. Honestly, like the other tools that are out there, like I don't feel like I want to promote them right now because I don't think they give you a lot of they don't give you a lot of efficiency. So
I could try to make my LinkedIn more automated. That would be awesome.
LinkedIn with AI. Okay, is this it?
All right, I guess. All right. LinkedIn. How to use AI to supercharge your LinkedIn, I guess, or how to use AI to, I guess, land more interviews. Oh, okay. We'll do AI next time.
AI.
LinkedIn and AI. All right.
AI for the win.
LinkedIn plus AI. Okay. Alrighty. All right. So before we go, y'all. So if folks want to, get to know more of you guys, how can they get in touch?
Oh, right. Do you have those QRs, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
So I am mostly on LinkedIn. So if you guys are, if you're wanting to work with a career coach who can help you with strategy, process, alignment, Maggie, I'm sorry, you're hilarious. And accountability, then, hit me up. Let's have a chat and see if there's something that we can do, if we can work together on that. Otherwise, I am hosting Interview Tuesday. So if you find that you are in a situation where you're starting to have some interviews, every Tuesday I hold a group session where anybody can come and join, literally from any background, and we just go through like the basic principles of interviewing and give you some strategies for how to structure answers for different types of questions.
I want to attend it.
I know you said that last time. I haven't seen you in my group.
I've been slipping. I'm sorry.
So here's my QR. I think this is a link to my my chat page. Otherwise, feel free to find me on LinkedIn. I am connected on the live session, the LinkedIn Live thingy. Just click on me. Also, I think I'm the only person in the world with this name. So if you search for me, you should be able to find me. Send me a connection request. I'm happy to be in touch.
Oh, while this thing's still going, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn too. But I got something very funny. Emily, oh my goodness. Somebody sent me an email to my work email. I thought it was you, and I was like, they said how for the tech recruiter do you it was like it was a nice email. It was pretty cute, right? I thought it was you, and I was like, hey, you had me at hello. I've been getting email blasted from this person who's Emily, but not Emily. You.
Oh, that's weird. There are a lot of us out there.
I didn't pay attention to the last name. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries.
That's my fault, but yeah, look, if you wanna laugh and good conversation, and Maggie, if you want some game and some gems on the LinkedIn, we can connect, but you're gonna have to wait till the next call so that everybody can get the same juice at the same time. So yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm probably the worst because I'm an advocate. I want everybody to win, so everything that we can do to help you, I will do it. Just don't tell nobody else, okay? Because then they'll be like, what the hell? He's trying to help you do that? Crazy. But thank you all for being here. Kadisha, so glad that you put these things together. And Emily, every time I talk to you, I just want to go have a Coke because I'm going to have to have one after this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kadisha and Pedro too.
Yep, we will leave with this. LinkedIn is giving MySpace top 8.
It feels icky to me.
All right, hope y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye.